Hey YouTube, it's Gypsy and
Bellaluna.
And we are talking about the Hermit today. This is the 9th card of the Major Arcana, aka the 10th card if you count the Fool card, which you should. And here it is. This is the Rider-Waite-Smith version of the Hermit, which is what we are deeming as our benchmark. I do not have the book here. We also talk about what Renee Pollack says about it in her book, 78 Degrees of Wisdom. She describes it as a withdrawal from the outer world for the purpose of activating the unconscious mind. So the Hermit kind of talks about what? It represents what? What's the main idea?
Solitude.
Solitude. That's a good way to put it. This is actually one of Bellaluna's favorite cards. And why is it one of your favorite cards?
Because I can be a hermit a lot.
Yeah, she's kind of hermity. But she likes it, don't you?
Yes, it's quiet.
Yeah, she's a bit of a bookish kid. She reads a lot. And so she spends a lot of time on her own, kind of in her own little
bubble.
In her own little world, in her own little head. And so anyway, she really identifies with the Hermit card. But in a good way. In a good way. She's also very introspective and
I can be social.
You can be social.
I want.
And socially awkward. No, she's actually quite personable. But, you know, yeah, and I mean, as a lot of you have commented that she's very intuitive about the cards. You know, she also does spend time looking at her own cards. Which one is your deck again?
Well, I have a lot of decks.
Well, you do have a lot of decks, but your tarot deck, which is your tarot deck?
Deviant Moon.
There you go. Deviant Moon. Yes, it is a bit of a twisted deck, and yes, she is 10 years old, but she can handle it.
Yes, I read.
She reads, so she can handle weird art. They go hand in hand, in case y'all didn't know that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get going. First of all, let's go ahead and look over the Rider-Waite-Smith card. We have a man. Is he alone or in a group?
No.
He's alone. And what's in his hand?
A lantern.
The dog's barking. She's going to check it out. He has a lantern. He has a staff, a walking stick, which can be compared to the magician. Another thing that Rachel Pollack makes a good point about is that there is a 6-pointed star here inside of the lantern that represents, she talks about it being the 2 triangles representing the heavens and the earth, and they're together in this one 6-pointed star. There are not a lot of other cards that have that, so I will tell you the one when we get to it. It's the highest scoring card. It's going to be a total surprise. Just kidding. It's not a surprise at all when you see it. Anyway, we have some mountains down here in the background, and he's kind of on a bit of a perch. If you look really closely, he's standing on a rock. Don't y'all love my nail polish? It's still awesome. It's the same nail polish as the last video I showed you. Anyway, he's standing on a bit of a perch, and we will see that in some of the other cards. It's a little bit more obvious in other cards. The colors are subdued. They are not bright colors. The brightest color here is what?
Blue.
No.
Yellow.
Yeah, there you go. It's more of a gray, but, you know, whatever. But anyway, he is hooded. He is an older man. He's got a beard. A lot of our cards have beards. So that's something, you know, to kind of look for.
Like quietness.
Yes, old people tend to, you know, have signs of being withdrawn. They're more reflective. They've got the wisdom and the, you know, the self-confidence, or I guess not confidence, comfortable. Comfortable. Yes. With age comes wisdom, and with wisdom comes
being alone.
Contentment. Yeah, being okay with being by yourself.
Yep.
I'm not that old, but I actually really like being all by myself.
My time got taken up though.
Oh well.
Yeah.
So here we go. We have the Visconti Tarot.
Now, I don't understand why he has an hourglass.
Well, that is a good question. It does look like an hourglass in this picture, and it's not clear to me whether it is just a weird-looking lantern or if it actually is an hourglass. That is a very good observation. We're going to see that again.
Maybe it means, like, how long he has to be alone.
Well, or it has to do with time and the passing of time and, you know, the you know, the human experience. As you grow older, you grow wiser, you become more enlightened.
He has his walking stick.
Yes, he does have a walking stick, so that obviously, is something that Pamela Smith did preserve in her artwork.
They all kind of have walking.
Most of them do. Yes, most of them do. Most of the hermits are an old man with a stick and a lantern. That's pretty much the standard. Yeah, and an hourglass. We also see that in the Minchiati Tarot. If you look here, now this is interesting because this old man actually has he has crutches. It's not a staff. They are crutches and they're holding him up. He's also looking at the ground. He's looking down. There is a deer in this one. Not all of them have animals, but I think it's interesting to note that this one is all alone. This one is all alone. This one has a companion. It is a deer. It's a stag. We also see here, what is that? That's not a lantern.
An hourglass with an arrow.
That's an hourglass with an arrow through it. Almost like maybe that's the pausing of time. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's what that signifies. I'm not reading all of the guidebooks right now. But, yeah, we see that hourglass again. And again, I see that as a passage of time, a signal of the passage of time. Or in this case, maybe the stopping of time. I'm not sure. As far as the old decks, the last one I have is the Marseille Tarot. Again, this was from 1750.
No meaning to me.
Well, it does. It's still got the old man. He still has his staff.
It has the lantern.
It does have a lantern. He is bearded. He's not looking down, though. He's looking straight ahead. So I want to note that, because you're going to notice that in these cards. A lot of the hermits are actually looking down at the ground.
Maybe he's looking straight ahead because he's looking on to having his alone time.
Or maybe he's moving forward. There's a forward movement there. Whereas, when you're looking down, it's almost like you're stalled out. Which, again, we have this hourglass with the arrow through it. It's a time of pause, a time of reflection. So he's looking down, signifying that he's not necessarily in motion, not intellectually, as far as where he is in his life. The hermit signifies a moment of pause, a moment of silent reflection, going inside yourself and maybe not necessarily making progress, but stewing for a little bit, kind of thinking about things, trying to see things in a different way, or, progress your thought, but you're not actively moving forward. Okay, now we get on to my little grade sheet. There was a maximum of 8 points. Guess who maxed out, folks? You'll never guess. You want to guess? Illuminati. I know. And the reason that they got 8 points, the full 8 points, is because if you look really close, which again, it's hard to see. 6 points. We have the 6-pointed star. We have a hermit. We even have the muted blues and grays. We have a snowy hill. We have him on a perch. Ahead. He is not. He is actually looking down at the ground. You have to look really closely, but he is looking down at the ground.
And he has a magical staff.
He does have his staff, and his is actually lit up, so it even has a more magical connotation than the Rider-Waite-Smith hermit. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, see here we have, it is a yellow staff though, so I guess you could see like the whole thing is lit up just like the star. So never mind, it's still there. They preserved it. A beautiful, again, pimped out version of the Pamela Coleman Smith's artwork. Always. Now here again, this is the only reason why this one didn't get a full 8 points is because you can't tell that the star is 6-pointed. It's just glowing. This is Ciro Marchetti's Gilded Tarot. He's not wearing his hood, but, neither is the Marseille Tarot.
But he's still looking down.
And neither is the Minchiati Tarot. So they don't always have their hood on. He is still looking down.
And he looks kind of like he's off in space, like he's in his own mind. Like, whenever you're off in space, people say that.
Right. And you even have space behind him.
Yeah. It's like he's off in space, and he's in his own mind, and he's a hermit.
But he is sort of, hanging onto this cliff, which is reminiscent of what card? What is standing on the edge of a cliff on a perch? What does that remind you of? The Fool. That's right. So it's like the Fool has grown up, and he's become an older man, and he's wise. He's gained wisdom through his journey. And now, instead of using his staff to hold his bag of experiences, he's using it as kind of a walking stick, right? And then we have Steampunk Tarot, and this was tied. This one's very similar to the other one. I love the pile of cogs and clockwork pieces that he's walking on. And this hermit is actually in motion, which is different than a lot of them. Most of these other ones we've looked at, he's just kind of standing there. This guy's actually looks like he's taken a step. And what has he got there? Is that a lantern?
That's an hourglass.
It looks like an hourglass.
Glowing out.
So, this light is killing me. So we do see here that he, that hourglass has been preserved. I really kind of interested in what's going on with that hourglass. But he also has his staff, and it really is more of a walking stick. It's not as long as the others.
Oh.
It's at hand length. It's at hip waist length.
Lucky I mentioned the hourglass.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you were all over that. So there's the Steampunk Tarot. Then for 6 points, we have the Wildwood. And this one, again, is very classic. Now, what's interesting about this one is you can't tell if it's an old man or an old woman. And I do like that a lot. Rachel Pollack talks about this in her book about how, we typically see the hermit as an old man. We rarely think of a hermit as being a woman.
I could be an old woman hermit.
Oh, yeah. You're totally going to be. Crazy cat lady in works. Actually, right here in front of your face. No, she doesn't. You'd be a crazy dog lady.
Yeah.
Possibly. She'll collect owls. She'll have them in cages. She'll have them stuffed. They'll be everywhere. Maybe she's wearing an owl on her shirt. Ivy Wind, if you're out there watching, we got an owl. You can fight her for owl stuff. But anyway, I like the fact that this card kind of leaves it open. This is no, it doesn't. It says the hooded man. It doesn't say the hooded being or woman. Yeah, the hooded person. That would be more politically correct. But whatever, it's the hooded man. But it could be a woman. If you're looking at it and you're reading it intuitively and you're ignoring the words, which I do sometimes.
It could be a woman.
A woman. You could just write that in. Just put a little W-O. Just squeeze it in. It's your deck. Do what you want. Do what feels right. Mm-hmm. Next we have the Archeon Tarot. This is a really cool one. It's very sketchy looking. If you look, it's got a hook. Almost like a whale hook or something. Kind of makes me think of an Eskimo. Kind of got that snowy look to it because it's kind of frazzledy. Frazzledy. You like that word?
Yeah, it looks like it has holes.
I just made a new word. Yeah, it looks like an old photograph or that there's, stuff floating around. But, it's hard to see on the video again. But the hood on this figure's jacket, it looks furry. So it does have a very Eskimo feeling to it. Very much so. Eskimo mood. Next we have the Tarot of Dreams. Now I like this one because he looks very meditative. He's not standing at all. He's actually sitting on kind of a little cliff thing, yeah. And his lantern is actually this glowing orb that's on top of his staff. So we've combined the lantern and the staff into one thing.
It looks really magical like a magician.
It does. It does. It looks very zen also. He is chilling like a villain. Like Bob Dylan on the edge of a cliff. Next we have the Legacy of the Divine Tarot. Now this hermit's up close. We don't know if he's walking or sitting or standing or what he's doing, but we still have this staff that's sort of combined with the lantern, just like we have. And incidentally, these are both Ciro Marchetti decks, like the Gilded Tarot was. But he's kind of gone a different direction with both of these in that he has combined the staff and the lantern.
A lot of the lanterns are kind of glowing blue. I wonder if that's like symbol or something that's glowing blue.
Well, the color blue, like earlier, you made the comment that this was a blue color. It seems to be kind of
maybe it means kind of like.
Well, I think blue is normally seen as like a reflective.
Yeah, you can be happy, but you can be sad.
Yeah, it could go either way. It's a calm.
It could be at the same time.
Color calming, like when you see like people talk about interior design. You paint your walls blue in your bedroom because it's a calming color.
Clear.
So I think that this, these hermit cards all have a sense of calmness to them. Like you see the strength card, you see the color of passion and fire, and you see that, that kind of thing. The High Priestess has a lot of blue in it a lot of times.
Yes, it does.
And again, it's that calmness that comes with that wisdom. She has that mystery about her, that wisdom, of beyond the intuition, type thing. The hermit, just like, normally when you see older figures, there is a sense of peace, a sense of calmness, and I think that's what maybe is coming through with all of the blue that we're seeing. I like it a lot. I also like the fact this hermit, I'm sorry, not this hermit actually doesn't have a beard. He doesn't look near as old. He looks road worn, he looks tired, but he does not look old necessarily.
Well, because a hermit could be anyone. Anyone.
It could. It could, and I kind of like that about this card. It's kind of got a...
Kids can be hermits, grown-ups can be hermits. Well, people can be hermits.
Yes. Oh, another thing I wanted to point out about this, the Hermit card is associated with Virgo. If you look really closely here, he has a Virgo symbol on his necklace. And I have an interesting observation I made in another card, and I'll get to it in a minute. But, just like the Legacy of the Divine Tarot, the Vampire Tarot, Tarot of Vampires...
This is one of them I don't.
Oh, this is one you don't care for?
Yes, because...
Why don't you like it?
The Hermit is supposed to be being alone, you know?
Yeah.
And the blue in most of the cards are a sense of calmness. This dude looks, I'm gonna kill you. And he's still alone.
Looks like he's running away.
Looks like he's running away, but he has that death. The skulls, he has the death to him. I know it's vampire, but still, most of the other cards are not about death. It's about being alone and calmness and just being away.
Right. Well, he's running away.
So, looks like he killed people in the process.
But yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I don't know that I like the retreating look so much, but it does fit in a Hermit card if you think about it. The retreating, getting away from everything. But there is more action in this card, and there is fire.
And he's also taking a step like one of the other cards was.
He's right. He is in motion like the Steampunk Tarot was. However, I also want to point out that, like in the Legacy of Divine that we just looked at, if you look on the cross, that is a Virgo sign. So you do see the Virgo sign again in this card. And these are the only two that I have in my collection that have the Virgo symbol. But I thought it was kind of interesting that they scored close to the same score, and they were right back to back in my stack here. So there is the Tarot of Vampires.
I got the same score.
Next we have Joie de Vivre. I love it. Always do.
She's a 6-pointed star.
Well, actually this is an 8-pointed star, but I think I gave partial credit for that. I like the androgyny in this card. Do you know what androgyny means? Nope. Means it's kind of girl and it's kind of boy. And the reason I say it's kind of boy, even though it's like totally obviously looks like a girl, is that it's got the antlers on it, which reminds me of the horn god.
Yes.
So it's kind of got both the male and female energies in it. Pollack is really good for that. And I like the fact that she does this in some of her cards. And Rory, I know you're looking at this and I know you're smiling right now, aren't you? You're smiling. I know you are. This breaks the conventions of the normal Hermit card because it does have a female Hermit. She's not looking down. She's actually looking out towards people. I'd kind of like to see her looking down personally because I like that reflective look. I'll let it slide because it's an awesome card. I'm not going to hang up on it.
And it has a blue background.
And it has a blue background. And she's got her staff with her lantern. And she is on a perch. So she's got a lot of hermity things going on here. You know, her stairs, just, it's not the same. And, you know, she's not a dude. She doesn't have a beard.
Yay!
That would be awkward. Bohemian Gothic Tarot. Very dark, as usual. I like it, though.
You know the lantern?
Hmm?
How it's shining on him?
Uh-huh.
Kind of shows that he can be happy, but he can also be alone and he won't care.
That's right. It's got a flicker of
See this?
passion to it. Because there is that little bit of red. You know, Bohemian Gothic likes to throw that red in there. Which
I mean, he has
I
a little bit of
appreciate.
wrinkles, but he does not.
Yeah, he doesn't have a beard. But he does have signs of aging. He does look old.
A little bit of
He
wrinkles.
looks a little worn, you know. He's living in the woods, so.
Yeah.
He's out in the elements.
And he is looking straight ahead.
He is.
And
He's
wearing a
actually,
hood.
he's got those glowy looking eyes. He's not looking at the person looking at the card. He's actually kind of looking off to the distance. But he's not looking down. Next is the the Tarot of Magical Forest. And again, it's a cute card. They're always so cute.
Actually, I like the other one better.
Yeah, it's
Strength card was so cute.
but it's just so cute. It's a polar bear. He's got his staff. He has his hooded cloak. He has his lantern. He has his white mountains with the snow. He's not on a perch, but that's okay.
His eyes are yellow, and you can see in his eyes that he is happy in a way, even though he is in a blizzard and
He's content.
Yeah.
He's not cold. He's a polar bear. He's fine.
Yeah.
He's good.
Good.
He's not struggling. He's not suffering. Next we have the Paulina Cassidy Tarot, the Paulina Tarot. Now, cool observation here. There is no hourglass. But if you look very closely and zoom in down here, we have a stopwatch hanging from the companion's mouth. This one is not alone, just like we saw in the Tarot of Vampires and in the other card we looked at that I can't remember now that had a companion animal of some sort. Wildwood Tarot. No, that had a bird.
This one. one with the deer.
Oh, that's right. My bad. Minchiati Tarot, the one with the deer. She was right. God, I'm so tired of being right. But the Paulina Tarot, again, this is a woman, so she did it again. We have
and
a
there's
female.
wings on her head.
She has wings. Well, she has a bird on her head. No, those wings do not belong to the bird. Those are part of her head.
Her horns, like a manly feature. Her horns.
And we do actually have a 6-pointed star. You have to be able to probably see the actual card itself. If you have this card, look at it at home, kids. We've got it right here, hanging from the string that's coming off of her staff. There is a sun, and there is a moon, and then there is a 6-pointed star. So we have the sun, moon, and star card represented here in the Hermit. So beautiful representation, as is usual, of Paulina Cassidy and her staff. Next we have you know what this one is?
No.
Think about it. Shadowscapes Tarot.
This strength card was good too, like a watercolor feel.
Yep. We have a Hermit. It is perched. It's really, honestly, it's hard to tell if this is male or female, so I like that.
The light, it shows it's spreading everywhere. Like, in the person's body,
Yes.
it's spreading everywhere.
This one's not as dark as a lot of the other Hermit cards. We have a little bit more light going on here.
We have some animals.
That's right.
We have some
We have this,
blueness.
this to me represents infinity, and I like that a lot. Of course, there is the lantern, there's the cloak going on. No staff. This one does not have the staff of the magician, though. But that's okay, too.
Yeah. A lot of light.
Next, we have the Hidden Realm. Tarot of the Hidden
This
Realm.
one didn't really speak to me. It's pretty artwork.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
And this is female, too.
Yeah.
This one looks like a woman to me. Shamany
staff.
looking. A lot of these cards are shamany looking.
and
Go have the staff.
she does not have a lantern, but her hair has kind of like a glow off of it.
Right. There is definitely a look of she has a look of wisdom, though. She knows something, and she's looking off to the side. She's not looking down, which kind of has sort of a, I don't know, I don't want to say dreamy. That's not the word I'm trying to say, but her mind is maybe not focused on forward movement. It's looking around.
This is one of my favorite cards.
Good. This is one I have a question about. Earlier, we were looking at the symbol of Virgo because the Hermit card is associated with Virgo. However, guys, is it just me, or is that a Taurus symbol there? And I gotta tell you, I even looked in the guidebook for this, which I don't normally do with a lot of these because I ain't got time for that. But there's nothing saying anything about Taurus. I don't know why, but to me that looks like the Taurus sign, and this doesn't have anything to do with Taurus, so I don't know what's going on with that.
Maybe a misprint.
But it's a cool card. Kind of has a Michael Jackson
I
feel
like
to
it because it's black and white. He has a glowing hand, like a lantern.
That's right.
And it looks like he's looking at his hands like...
Well, he's looking down.
Yeah, but you know how it looks like he's looking down at his hands. And to me, that kind of says, like he's looking at himself and what he's doing. And
maybe
his
like
reflection on
blocking
on
out
things.
the outer world.
Yeah,
you know?
he's like saying, this is what I like. I am a hermit. I don't want to be with you, so back off.
Right?
Okay? So I like his
Isolation. It
card, and
indicates.
he has that feel, that black and solitude and hermity feel.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool card. I like this one. I have mixed emotions about that deck, but every once in a while we'll pop out a good one. The Hobbit Tarot.
I don't. He has a beard. He has. If you think about it, his axe could be kind of like a staff.
Yeah, it's a mountain troll.
Is it a bee?
And they're usually alone. Yeah, and I haven't read the book, so I'm not exactly
Maybe
sure
the
what the
bee,
B stands
since
for.
it's yellow, maybe it represents kind of like the lantern.
That could be
and
it.
on his belt, there's a heart.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And the heart kind of, I think it represents that he's happy still, and he's not completely sad. He's happy being
There is
alone.
a sense of happiness, of contentment.
And there's that blue, but there's still a dead tree saying, alone.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think of a dead tree. Yeah. Oh, here's the Deviant Moon. Borderless.
I kind of like it. I have mixed feelings about this.
I think of Gollum,
But-
which to me, Gollum from the Lord of the Rings trilogies, Smeagol. It's the Smeagol card. All the way. This is a very different representation of the Hermit. It's unlike any of the other Hermit cards that we've seen, but there is a sense of, this guy doesn't look like he's necessarily a Hermit by choice. So that kind of takes the Hermit card in a whole different direction, because this guy looks more ostracized than going out on a vision quest on his own kind of thing.
This one, like she said, he looks like he's kind of forced to it. Kind of looks like a sheep because she's painted nails.
True.
She.
It's a he, she.
Yeah. You know, he does look like he's kind of being forced to be out there. He looks ashamed when he's covering up his eye or trying, and his head. But he's still not completely alone. He's out. You can kind of see the smoke pipes. Looks kind of like he's out in the city still, and he's been forced to be out there, maybe a foreclosed house.
It's like he's alone in the middle of a city.
Yeah.
You know, so that's got its own. You go a whole different direction with the Hermit card with the Deviant Moon, but I like it. I like it.
This one I don't like.
This one is kind of similar to the last one, and then it's a little creature. It's not a man in a cloak.
You know,
the normal thing that you're used to seeing.
I get that sense of death, and that's not really what it's about. And he doesn't look like really a hermit to me.
He looks mischievous.
Looks like he's a jerk.
He's a jerk.
His face.
I can't even tell if that's a girl or a boy, honestly. I don't know. It looks feminine.
It looks like he's
It looks feminine to me.
The way he's big enough to mess with somebody's writing jar, like the little ink.
Well, but you see, that is the script. This is the ink. And so it has to do with history. You know, and again, you know, written word. I mean, you could kind of go there with reflection.
Yeah, I do get a good feel.
You know, yeah, it's a little bit, it is a little bit too abstract for me personally, but I mean, I can see where you can get Hermit out of it, but
no.
This
one was
second to last card. Yeah, this is Steampunk Gods the Machine. This is called the Inventor. They've changed the name of it because, like the Wildwood Tarot, it is a little bit different system, so they name everything differently.
This one, I like it because he is definitely alone. Like, most inventors are kind of
Well,
alone.
he's alone, but he's not. He has a companion animal, just like we saw in some of the other cards. He has a cat.
He has the 6-pointed star.
Yes, it is kind of. It's actually looks like an atom. If you can see it really closely, it looks like the nucleus of an atom.
But he is alone, and he looks kind of like he's in his grand house, and he doesn't care that he's alone. But he has a cat.
He's very productive. He's got work.
And he has that blue, and he has kind of like a blue lantern. And he looks kind of like a magician, if you ask me.
He does have magician qualities, but we also see that in a lot of the other cards.
Yeah.
He's
an old man. He looks like he has wisdom.
He's not real old, though. He doesn't have a beard.
You can see in his face, though, that he has wisdom.
Yeah.
And stuff. And he's happy. He's truly happy.
He does. He does have a look of contentment on his face.
He looks happy, but he's also alone. But he has a cat.
And he's looking straight forward. He's not looking down. This guy doesn't look quite as reflective as some of the other ones.
He looks like he's looking ahead, and he cannot wait until future.
Right. He's looking more ahead than a lot of the hermits. For that reason, I'm a little bit meh about it, though, because he doesn't look as... He looks a little bit cocky for a hermit to me, and that's just me. It's not that I don't like this card, but, you know, kind of like with the Deviant Moon, I like what it's doing. I like that it's challenging the preconceived notion of the hermit, but if I'm reading for somebody and I'm you know, trying to... It's going to mess with it's messing with my expectations of the hermit just a little bit. That's okay. Inner Realm Tarot. Now, this one usually scores really low, and again, it's in last place, but this is one of both of our favorite cards. The Inner Realms Tarot Hermit is awesome. You guys, check it out.
It does not have a 6-pointed star.
It doesn't have anything.
4.
It doesn't have anything that any of the hermits have. This has a total tree of life. The Green Man meets Carnival. I mean, this thing is awesome. It says wisdom, solitude, humility, detachment, seeking. That thing is just staring right through you. I love this card.
I think it's pretty. I actually get a magician feel from this card.
You get a magician feel off this one too?
Yes, I do. You see his eyes, how they're green? Kind of like magic. And the stem, the trunk, looks kind of like a staff, if you think about it. And the 2 4-pointed stars equal 8, so 8. Say. There's pointed stars. It doesn't matter. There's pointed stars, and I still get the magician feel, the magic-y tree of life.
I get a very shaman feeling about it. I like this as a hermit card. I really, really like the way that this is represented. This one also challenges my preconceived notions of a hermit card, but it doesn't twist them around. I still, totally get the solitude, totally get the wisdom. I totally get the seeking. I mean, everything that they put on here as a word, I would have gotten out of that without having the words on the card. I mean, I absolutely love this hermit card. Favorite.
Tree of Life, like-minded.
So that's it. That's that's what we've got for you tonight. That's the Hermit, brought to you by Gypsy and Bellaluna. And we hope you enjoyed our rambling tonight about the card. And we hope that you guys have a great rest of your week. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
And stars.
Those sparkles.
Those aren't stars, honey.